Hello and welcome to The View from the EBRD. My name is Stefanie Linhardt and I'm here with Mattia Romani, Managing Director for Country and Sector Economics at the EBRD. Mattia, in time for the annual event at the EBRD, you've published a new economic forecast. What are the main takeaways?
That's right. We are publishing the Regional Economic Prospects, which is our biannual economic forecasts. And it's a particularly exciting one, I must say, or at least it is for economists. It's called the Caught in the Cross Currents. And the reason is that this particular Regional Economic Prospect is really about very important macroeconomic trends which are ongoing in the world. We've got on one side the US tightening monetary policy soon. We expect them to tighten at the end of the year, early next year, after a period of quantitative easing, which is one of the largest quantitative easing we've ever seen in the world economy. At the same time, we've got Europe starting a quantitative easing program, also supposed to be very large. So these two trends alone are going to be extremely important in determining the economic outlook. On top of that, in our region, we've got Russia going through a substantial recession, fueled by lower oil prices and by geopolitical tensions, and at the same time some risks in the Eurozone, namely in Greece. So four megatrends which are ongoing now and that will determine a fairly uncertain period for economic growth in our region of operation.
You've mentioned loads of countries here. Russia, Ukraine are obviously two countries where things are not as good. What's your specific forecast for those two countries?
So we see both countries in deep recession. Russia in particular, we see the recession being stronger than we thought. In the last forecasts, we forecast that in 2015, Russia's economy will decelerate by 4.5 percentage points, so quite a deep recession. At the same time, though, we do see Russia, some of the fundamentals in Russia are changing. And this is mostly driven by the sort of increase in the oil prices that we've seen over the last few months. What does that mean for the economy? Well, it means that the ruble is likely to appreciate further. We are now probably 20-25% lower than before the beginning of the crisis. So it went down almost 50% and then it recuperated its value. And it means, therefore, a government which is able to use the fiscal side of the economy, the stimulus side of the economy more strongly. We got evidence of this in Q1 2015. We've seen government expenditure going up 27% in Russia as the government tries to pump money into the economy, particularly through infrastructure, to restart the economy. Therefore, while we see the country going through a deep recession in 2015, our forecast is more generous with a lighter recession in 2016 at 1.8 percentage points. So we do see Russia under a lot of strain, but at the same time we do foresee that if the energy prices, the oil price in particular, stays at around $60 per barrel, as we expect it to stay in 2016, then we could see a slightly stronger Russia than originally expected. Ukraine is a story of a country that is going through a deep period of recession in 2015, but also a country which is reforming strongly and quickly, with a government truly committed to reforms. We see that, and we're working with them, together with international partners, the IMF, first of all, the World Bank also, and we do believe that that will bring the country out of recession in 2016. So we have a forecast for a positive growth in 2016 in Ukraine. Of course, all of this is dependent on geopolitical tensions. Minsk Treaty needs to hold, and if that's the case, then this forecast will hold. But of course, the geopolitics in the region are uncertain, so we're looking at this very, very carefully.
Which other countries are specifically impacted by Russia-Ukraine?
Yes, another surprise in this forecast has been particularly the sort of Caucasus and to an extent the Central Asia region. And this is because the impact of the reduction in remittances from Russia to these countries has been larger than we expected 6 months ago. We've seen a real halt of remittances, which is driven mostly by migrants going back to their countries of origin as the opportunities for jobs in Russia disappear, and also some import substitution in Russia, which means that exports from countries near Russia into Russia have gone down substantially, and this has a substantial impact on the economic growth forecasts for the Caucasus region in particular, but also for Central Asia. I mean, besides the economics, this is also a story of human beings. The estimates we have is about 500,000 people are going back from Russia to Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan as the job opportunities are simply not there anymore. So these are quite permanent changes in the structure of these economies. So we're watching that carefully, and we believe that it'll have an impact on the forecast.
We talked about positive news in Western Europe, or in the West in general. Now, Greece is also in the West. What's the story there?
Well, the story is on all the newspapers. We in our forecasts have Greece at 0% growth for 2015 and positive growth, just positive growth in 2016. These are really central forecasts, which are based on the assumption that a deal is found in Greece. We have hopes that a deal is found in Greece. Greece is now a country of operations for the EBRD, and we look forward to working with Greek clients and close cooperation with the Greek government. We have trust that the negotiations will be successful, but of course this forecast depends on them. So commitment on the side of government or reforms is important. Commitments from the partners in Europe and in Washington is also important. We believe that that can be achieved, and we believe that the fundamentals of the Greek economy are right for the economy to restart, as I say, in 2016. So we'll work closely with clients and the government, and we have hopes for positive growth in Greece next year.
Perfect. Lastly, the neighbour, Turkey. Briefly, what's going on there?
Well, that brings us really back to the title of the regional economic prospect. I think Turkey is the best example of a country caught in this cross currents of monetary policies. Let me explain why. So Turkey is a country that has quite a large exposure in terms of debt to US dollars. In order to finance this exposure, it needs a current account surplus, which it has, luckily, because of its exports. But its exports are mostly to the euro region. So the export receipts are in euros, the debts need to be paid in US dollars. As the US dollar appreciates and the euro depreciates, the ability to meet this debt repayment has gone down. And we've seen this in the numbers, with monthly receipts going down from over $3 billion a month to the latest numbers, $2.6 billion a month. So it's really a country caught in this different currents on the global monetary policies. So we're watching Turkey very closely. We have a positive forecast of 3% growth for both 2015 and 16. That's lower than what this country should be growing at in terms of its fundamentals, and it's due exactly to this cross currents which are troubling Turkish waters.